Well, we've officially cleared out this first section of the map here, so it's time we press onwards. In this new area, we have 3 new levels to tackle, as well as a village I can't access just yet, and a bonus stage I'm not equipped for. So for now, I'm just going to go ahead and take on the easiest of the 3 stages, the Lost City. So right out of the gate, we've got a couple of new spins on old obstacles. For starters, our little green bouncy slime friends are now on fire. They still act the same, it's just now I can't pogo on them anymore. If I try, I'm going to take damage. I also can't pogo on these new types of dirt blocks either. I can still do the attack, it's just instead of bouncing on them, I'm going to pass right through. They're very thinly packed dust blocks more than anything. On this screen, we also have another type of new block, so let me take care of this fire guy real quick. These gray stone blocks, they're very hard. It's going to take 2 swipes to destroy them instead of just 1. These new types of blocks are going to be popping up a lot more frequently throughout the rest of the game. Coming down into this screen, there's a little something that might happen if the AI is cooperative. Keep an eye on that green slime there. Ah yes, if lava touches the green slime, it catches on fire. It's truly quite horrible, watching him burn before our very eyes. Now in this screen we have a couple of those rude, bouncy blue boys that I complained about in the last bonus stage. I want to say this is pretty much the only stage you're going to show up in, but I'm probably forgetting some later appearances. As I mentioned before, the only reason they're so annoying is just they take a lot of hits for very little reward. Sometimes if you're lucky though, you can stun lock them. I still got a hit there, unfortunately. Now this is an interesting take on an auto-scroller, which I talked about in the previous video. My movement is limited to waiting on this big beetle to carry me along the path, but it's more involved than just waiting for the edge of the screen to catch up to where I am. Occasionally there are obstacles that I need to jump over and progress through in time. And there's even a fun bounce pad on his butt. You can jump off it, it's great. It's some neat ways to present the challenge of an auto-scroller, being in a certain place by a certain time, without really limiting too much of what the player can do or asking them to wait for the screen to catch up. Something I like about this game is almost every time you're about to be put up against a big mini-boss type enemy for the first time, it puts you in a spot where you can just stand and wait and see what they do. Up here, I can see that every time he finishes stretching all of his fingers, he's ready for another attack, so I know when it's safe to jump down and engage him in combat. Now, coming into this screen, there's 2 particularly cool things coming up. First off, dirt piles aren't safe anymore. Sometimes on the last swipe, a mole is going to pop out and rush you. It's always on the last swipe though, so it's not too hard to avoid once you know to expect them. I'm not going to pick up that gold just yet, because the second cool thing involves me backing up real quick. The second cool thing is more about game design. So you can see there's a pit in front of me. Obviously, I need to jump over it. I mean, what else am I going to do? So I'm going to start running towards it. Now before I ever make it close to the edge of this pit, an enemy jumps out. I'm warned about this type of enemy existing before I'm ever put in danger of it. On top of that, this pit is designed in such a way that, even if I did get hit by it, I'm knocked back onto solid ground. This warning and safety net is a godsend, because I've seen retro games do the exact opposite. For example, in Mega Man 9. Well, admittedly, Mega Man 9 isn't exactly a retro game. It came out in 2008, but it's designed to be like a retro game and evoke the feelings of those retro games. So it kind of falls into the traps of some of those games. In that game, the exact opposite happens, where you are not given this warning. If you're unlucky to get hit by one of those enemies, you're instantly dead. You fall directly in the pit. And as you can imagine, it is very unsatisfying. We also have a new type of knight here. As you can see, he is red, which means he attacks twice every time he attacks. That being said, there's a very easy way to chump on this guy. You lose out on his gold, but we sure taught him a lesson. Now on this screen, we've got another new block type. I think it only shows up on this stage, though. These blocks, when you hit them, any other blocks of the same type that are touching it are also going to get destroyed. We're going to see a couple fun challenges involving this show up through the rest of the... Oh, Lord Jesus, that was extremely dangerous. We're going to be seeing some more of those blocks show up throughout the rest of the stage. Sorry, I got real caught up in the moment there. Something I get a bit of a kick out of in this room in particular is not every player realizes you can cancel out of pogo attacks by attacking while you're in the air. I didn't mention it before, but you don't have to hold down to pogo. If I just tap down once, I'm immediately locked into the attack until I either touch the ground or I attack manually while in the air. So what happens is people get into these rooms where you have to pogo downwards over a death pit, and they don't realize you can stop doing the pogo by attacking, so instead they just fall into the lava and then start complaining online. That slime jumped in midair, what a cheater! The Dust Knuckles are a weapon I want to love, but just because of the way I set my controls, I don't love them as much as I should. The way the Dust Knuckles work is, if I use them to hit a block or an enemy, I'm going to pass right through it. You can really tear enemies apart this way, by constantly juking back and forth to either side of them. But that works better if you bind your sub-weapons to their own dedicated button. You see, I'm a nerd, and instead I have sub-weapons mapped to my regular attack while also holding up on the D-pad. That was how sub-weapons worked back in games like Castlevania and Ninja Gaiden, due to the limited controls available on the NES controller. That's not an issue here though, I'm playing on the Wii U gamepad, it has 4 buttons, but since this game does such a good job at emulating retro games, I love playing it with that limitation in mind. I don't know, I'm a nerd. And because of that, it can be hard to use the Dust Knuckles back and forth while also holding up at the same time. If you look in the background, you can see that our lava falls have become slime falls, and instead of being an instant death trap, we instead get a fun little bounce pad. While I'm fishing here, you can also see that on the right side of the screen that even our little slime friends over there can be converted back to normal by using the slime chunks that are on the ground. Now, much like our slime friends, even lava pits can be converted to slime by using slime chunks. This isn't permanent though, so I really gotta be quick about getting across them before they change back to normal. Oh no. Oh no. Boy, I really screwed the pooch on that one. Once again, I'm not going to force you guys to watch me return back to where I was. However, I am going to attempt to collect all of my stuff. I really jumped early on that one. There's a neat little mini puzzle here. I'm going to convert this lava to slime. I want that treasure up there, but I'm just not getting enough height. So what can I do? Well, if I convert this to slime, and then also put a second slime ball on top, that slime ball does not get destroyed, and I get that one little square of extra height that I need. And this room here is a tough little challenge. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I typically like to fight knights by using pogo attacks to lure them into blocking high. I could still try that here, but if I screw it up, I'm going to end up destroying the ground and we'll both be dead. And I've died enough on this stage, so instead I'm just going to play it safe. Getting into the final stretch of the stage here, I'm not going to destroy this checkpoint. I'm getting to the point where I don't really need money as badly as I did before, and I might screw this up, so just to be safe. Now what really crushes my nuts about these blue guys is they're one of the very, very few enemies in this game that bounce off the edge of the screen. You'd think you could just scroll them off the camera, but nope, you ain't safe. They are always going to be chasing you unless you can kill them, which is a problem seeing as they take a lot of hits before you can kill them. Moon Knight isn't exceptionally challenging, but he does spend a lot of time off-screen, so your opportunities to hit him are fairly limited. Ideally, you want to hit him each time he crosses the room. Now, if I timed it right, I could be pogoing on him while he's standing there in the corner, while he fruitlessly throws blocks where I am not, but I don't want the fight to end too fast. Now, while he's not too hard, the fight is actually really varied. He's already done about 4 different attacks by now. Now, that being said, from here he's pretty much just going to loop through his repertoire in the same order, but he's also going to get faster as the fight goes on. It's hectic, but it's manageable, and most importantly, it's fun. Especially this part coming up where the dirt blocks he's about to throw are replaced by the exploding blocks, which doesn't really change anything, but it's stylish. All in all, I'd say it's a well-designed boss fight.